Our breaking news, the White House, thank you so much. I'm joined now by CNN's Tom Foreman and Josh Campbell. Of these operations is challenged at multiple points by the contradictions that we are hearing from Caroline Leavitt, as we just heard there, one of them being this refrain over and over that this is the administration going after the work.
Right here. That's the problem with that. They keep trying to say, oh, these are all about these terrible criminals, all of this. The two people who are dead on the street, shot by ICE agents, were American citizens who were out there exercising the right that Caroline Leavitt herself said they had a right to exercise. The other problem is, as we know from statistics out there, the people who are being arrested. This is not an ocean of criminals. In fact, the vast majority have no criminal record whatsoever. So that's the problem with that part of the story.
She's saying, one of the things that Americans, even if that's exactly if you appear annoying to ICE, they're pointing to the fact you can't impede, you cannot obstruct these law enforcement actions. You can't get in the middle of law enforcement actions. That is true.
The problem seems to be what they are equating to be impedance. Look at this video, and this is where they're getting in trouble. This is the guy who they say is impeding. His hands up, trying to help a woman who is just shoved to the ground, a guy who is then dragged back in when he seems to be trying to go away. They're saying this guy's the problem, a guy who is pinned to the ground. They all come around and end up shooting repeatedly on the ground. They're saying that's the problem. So again, the narrative, what they're trying to sell and what people are seeing is in very stark contrast, and that's a problem.
I do go back to some of these numbers when they're looking at, you know, according to Cato, the conservative think tank, a very small percentage of people who are talking about the violent, the property convictions, a lot of people without any kind of criminal record who are in detention with ICE. But you hear Caroline Leavitt saying this is what Americans want. I think she's saying that is what Americans want, but that's not the totality of what's happening.
That is conflating an awful lot here. Did Donald Trump have immigration as a very strong issue for him for a long time? Yeah. Is he still getting generally good approval for closing the southern border? Generally, by a little bit. But Americans broadly, including an awful lot of Republicans, are looking at all of this, and they do not approve of this, certainly not by the magnitude that she would want to claim. If you look at any of the modern polls, the only way you get there is you say, well, we're just going to ignore the polls. The truth is, Americans are not happy about this in a very broad range. And for the White House to keep saying, oh, well, this is what Americans want, the evidence is Americans do not want this.
There's also the gun rights aspect, which we should talk about.
A whole different ball of wax
going forward. That's a big one. Tom, thank you so much. I want to bring in CNN and how that comports with what the White House is messaging. America is coming off a historic winter storm that has left a trail of airport outside of D.C. He's working hard. I'm working hard. You know who I think wants to work hard but cannot because he can't get back is one Boris Sanchez. So how's he doing? Is he and all the other people, are they going to be able to get moving soon?
I feel sometimes like the CNN anchor travel hotline. I've already heard from Boris and whether or not he's going to make it back. I've done a personal consult, part of the package that I offer to my friends at CNN. And the good news here is I think he is going to make it. The bad news is
we'll be watching, and hopefully, I mean, me and Boris will be back here tomorrow with you, Pete Muntean from Reagan Airport. Thank you so much. And the Arena with Casey Hunt starts right now.